Hey, everyone, and welcome to Inspiring Hope, a show that shines the light on amazing people who are making a difference in our world. I'm your host, Lois Herman, and today I'm excited to introduce the wonderful, magnificent Darlene Doughty, the multifaceted shaman, a talented artist and spiritual practitioner whose creations truly embody the healing power of nature. Darlene has been crafting a one-of-a-kind crystal and bone jewelry, shamanic drums, healing wands, and more since 2008, blending ancient wisdom with modern artistry. As a shamanic practitioner, her work goes beyond just beautiful pieces. Each item is infused with intentional energy designed to heal and transform. So today we're going to dive into Darlene's fascinating journey from discovering her past life as an American native to her evolution as a business owner and creator of spiritual tools. Welcome, Darlene, and tell us a little bit about how you got started. What made you get started into this crazy line of work that you're in?
Hi, Lois. Thanks for having me on. I greatly appreciate it. How I got started was I was with my now ex-husband in Barrington, New Hampshire. And my very first experience is when my daughter was 2 months old. And I had a C-section, and life was not happy at that point in time because we were going through a lot of things. And my mom gifted me a healing session.
Okay.
So I worked with a woman in Vermont as I laid on my couch in New Hampshire, and she sent me bear medicine.
Okay.
So basically what happened is like my whole body, I was laying down. So like my whole body was cut and sliced, and like the whole top half of my body lifted up, and bear came in and literally shoved me to the ground. And I was like, whoa, what was that? How does this work? So that was how I really got started, because I messaged my mother and my sister the next day. I'm like, how do I do this? I need to know more.
Mama Bear is a powerful, powerful medicine.
Yes. And
Oh, isn't that funny? I was drawn to wear my Zuni Bear earrings today. Isn't that fun? I love
I just had the Zuni Bear stones in my hands a little while ago.
it.
So yes, bear is in the air.
Bear is in the air. She sure
Yeah.
is. Wow, that's amazing. What an
Yeah.
incredible story. And
And from there, as my daughter got older, we'd go for walks out in the woods, and she would see things on the trees. She would see like spirit animals on the trees. She'd be like, look, mama, there's a bear. Mama, look, there's a horse. Mama, look, mama, look. And I was like, oh my God, she sees too. I've been a seer since I was 3 years old, but it being the 60s and 70s, I couldn't tell to anybody about all of this. So I kind of had to keep my mouth shut, which is not easy for me. And I took a turn, many years of drug and alcohol use, to just kind of shut off the voices in my head, because I really did not know what it was about and who I could talk to about it and what to do with it.
wow.
So I have been 30 years cocaine free, still like a little beverage every now and again. And this journey has just been amazing. And the next big step of it all was that I was working with June Evans. Some of you may know her, and my friend Amy Briggy, and my friend April. And we all were working, and June said to me one day, she goes, Darlene, there's a grave on your property. I went, okay. I said, I own, and there's a pink and white rock on it. I went, okay. I said, I own 45 acres of land at that point in time. I said, well, how am I going to find a pink and white rock in the middle of 45 acres?
Sure.
There's river, there's woods, there's field. Never going to happen. Well, it did. So that's how I found my grave and my daughter's grave from our past lives on that same property. So we were brought back to that property. So that was really my big wake up, because that there was no more doubt. There was no more, I'm not believing in this. It just happens. And it was really interesting, like facing yourself from a past life in this present moment. And that was what really blew me wide open.
Your past life journeys can be amazingly empowering and healing when you do go into those past lives. That's one of my favorite things to do, is help people to explore a past life so that they can heal the wounds, the emotional imprints that we carry into this past life, because we can carry part of that into this
Mhm.
life. So did you explore about who you were in that past life?
I was actually bear medicine woman and
Ah,
daughter of the chief. And what I have come to know is that the tribe passed from one of the plagues. I don't know if it was bubonic plague or whatever,
mm,
but it was just amazing. And then from that experience, I started seeing the native souls on the property. So I would be working and all of a sudden somebody go by the window. I'd be like, what was that? If I was not in alignment with what they wanted from me, they would buzz my window. And if I went to do something that was not quite right, they'd buzz the window. And I'd be like, this, everybody's going to start thinking I'm nuts. But we also were in the process of starting the Lightworkers New Hampshire group, which is on Facebook. And some of you may be part of it, some of you may not.
mhm.
But June Evans and I started that years ago. And
You know,
actually,
the spirit, the animal communicator.
June Evans, New Hampshire Medium, I think she
Oh,
goes
yeah.
by now.
Yep.
Yeah. And so we go, and actually, we're just chatting yesterday. This is our 10-year anniversary of the Lightworkers New Hampshire group. So we're trying to maybe pull something together. We're not sure yet because schedules are crazy and insane.
Exactly.
So,
What a powerful, powerful history. And it was interesting that your mother granted you this gift of this healing session, and it was bear energy that came through.
mhm. So yeah, Mama
Isn't
Bear medicine, and I work I work in a multitude of dimensions. I basically work from the core of the earth all the way to the wildest, weirdest galaxies you could ever be in. I astral travel. I work with the galactics.
Mhm.
I work with the natives. I work with the fairies. I mean, I'm in so many levels, but my heart center is always the Native American.
Mhm.
And my Native American guides have given me downloads on my products. They will wake me up at 3 a.m. and completely rattle off exactly what I need to make and how I'm going to do it. And they want me they don't want to lose the artistry of the native ways. So they have me bring it back with a modern day twist, is how they put it to me.
Perfect. That's
So
beautiful.
it's beautiful. And I love what I do.
I hear you, and I'm there with you. We just did a session yesterday where we called in native elders. We were working with the galactics. We I work with all of these different dimensions and different levels because they bring a different piece to the puzzle.
Right.
Not
Different
all are
resonance, different
aware
energy.
of the other levels. So you have to work with different entities from different levels in order to facilitate a healing for the person
Mhm.
who is a multidimensional person embodied in physical form. So
Right.
I'm following you. I'm picking up what you're putting down, lady.
Yeah. And
So behind you,
I
hanging
work
on the
with the
wall.
dragons too, and I know you do,
Oh
Lois.
yeah,
That's another.
where's my
It's
dragon?
endless who we work with.
I have several dragons here. So I had
You have
this
one of my dragons. Oh, you do have one of
your
my
dragon.
dragons. Good, because
Yes,
I
isn't
need to make some more.
Oh yeah, and this dragon is infused with crystals and gems. So she molds it, but she's got other types of jewelry and gems in embodied in the dragon. So, and I have my Andara on. I love my Andara. So yeah, you're amazing. You said you
Mine
made
today. I've got my
jewelry.
Herkimer and my Larimar on today with my
Yeah.
bead shells.
So you make jewelry and you what did you held up a little bit ago before we came on a wand.
Yeah, I'm just working on some wands because I'm headed down to New Jersey next week to do a gem and mineral show.
So
So
tell us about the wand.
these are my selenite wands. It's solid selenite on the backside.
Yeah, wrapped in
And
copper.
spirit given gifts, or spirit given instructions, I should say,
Yeah.
gifts and instructions,
Hmm.
because it is a gift to have these abilities.
Yeah.
And I just put different stones on. I have some that have the pyramids, and then I do some on ear bone I've got the hearts on this one. So
Wow.
and this is all one piece of wire. So I work with about 20 feet of wire per per wrap or per
All the wraps and
process.
everything. That's a lot of work.
I
Wow.
do all the wrapping, and this is all done by hand. There's no tools involved. It's all done. It's all handwork.
Yeah.
So,
Carrying on the tradition of the native artistry.
and
Wow.
I make drums and I teach drum making classes.
Hmm.
I have 2 or 3 a year, depending on who's interested and what spirit tells me. Because spirit's like, okay, time for a drum class. I'm like, okay. So I just whatever they tell me, I do.
I
And
hear you. I'm the same.
like,
When you
okay,
just say yes to spirit, your life takes magical turns and twists. And it is this dedication to being in the moment and to following the path. I love what you said about 3 o'clock because I've published 4 books. The 3 books, the Chronicles, most of they were transcribed from the actual sessions, but then there was a part of it that had to be organized and a part of describing what the information I received through these channel sessions. That all happened at 3 a.m.
yeah,
I'd be hearing in my voice, get up. You need to, my mind would be spinning, spinning, spinning. I'm like, okay. I'll just get up and I'll start. I hand transcribed that information for 2 hours. And then I would go to bed at 5, wake up at 7 and start my day.
exactly.
I would look back at the information going, and I think to myself, wow, this is pretty good. Because it's guided and
Sure.
amazing when we receive guidance and when we're open to the guidance with discernment.
Mhm.
It truly is. It's a magical life that unfolds, isn't it?
It is. It really is. And I struggled with that for years because I would be getting things and being like, no, that's not right. And now I'm like, okay, they speak. I go, okay, wait, give me a minute. And a lot of times I get overwhelmed by them because they want me to do so much.
Mm-hmm.
But yet, when I complete the tasks that they ask me to do, sometimes it takes me a couple weeks, sometimes it takes me 5 years. And if I don't complete the task, everything gets really like energetically gets all congested up.
Mm-hmm.
But then at the same time, I have to tell them I'm human. I can only do so much in a day, guys. Give me a break.
And what I find is when I ask them for guidance, okay, they're wanting me to. I'm redesigning my whole website, and I was blessed with a phenomenal website developer that's helping me. And yet I am deciding what needs to be going into it. So it's all of a sudden I'll get this insight, and I've got to capture it. I've got to do it, and I will constantly ask for guidance. Give me guidance, and when we are in the flow like that, it is amazing how it comes through. It's when we struggle and fight and try and do it ourselves that we get stuck. But when we tap into that divine flow, magic and miracles happen, don't they?
It sure does. And I'm also in the process of finishing up on my first book. I haven't had time because
Yeah.
and that is of my travels and my visions that I see. Well, usually when I go to sleep, because that's my meditation time. So a lot of times they will pop things up, and I've been putting those down on paper.
Good.
And my travels, I'm seeing things in mountains and trees as I'm traveling, like I explained earlier with my daughter when she was 2 and she's going to be 24 in a few weeks. And it's amazing what can come to you if you just allow it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so many of us try to block everything and stop it. And it's not what we're supposed to do. If we allow, it's a beautiful journey.
And I also have to say, allow with discernment, because a lot of what I do is help the beautiful star seeds who are getting divine inspiration. But there are some, as you well know, being a shaman, there are some from the shadow that will interfere and control people if they're not discerning as to who it is that they're communicating with. You've got to know and really vet. I mean, the archangels have told me time and again, you must vet carefully who you communicate with. And it's very powerful. Yet
Yeah.
once you have that party line with
Direct
the
connect to
true
spirit to
guide,
the universe. Yeah, it's all good.
you recognize it. You know who they are. You know
Right.
the message that comes through is pure, and then it gets exciting. But you've got to clear out the karmic, the debris, so that you then have a pure transmission
Hmm.
of pure intent, high vibe intent.
Yeah, because I still have some that come through, and I go, yeah, no, if you can't tell me who you are, get out. And if they get persistent, I tell them to get the f out, and that's it, done.
Be gone.
Done.
Be gone.
Not coming in. You're not of my highest and best good. Then you're not welcomed, and that's how I have learned to work with who I work with.
That's right. Yeah, there are, I would say there's a good at least 80% of people who are communicating with the guides that are not of the light. In my 30 years of experience dealing with this,
Hmm.
it is truly amazing how many very spiritual people who
Hmm.
are, have you really vetted who you're communicating with?
Right.
Oh wow, no, that energy is dark or is mean. I'm like, that ain't Jesus if it's mean, okay? And you have to, no matter what, whether be it the fairies, because I have communicated with the fairies. I can sit out in my garden and talk to the fairies and the sprites and the flowers and all of them. But you have to be discerning because
Yes,
there's
yes, because
shadow side.
the fairies can be trickery as well.
Oh yeah.
The trolls and the gnomes, and yeah, and I think it's a process of learning as we
Right.
learn what and who we can trust in other dimensions.
That's
And
right. Exactly.
you're letting dark stuff in, you're gonna feel like crap. And it's that simple. And you go, oh, wait a minute. So let's clear that, start over again. And it's trial and tribulation, just like everything else in life. You got to try something to know whether it's right for you or not. Some
Exactly.
people love working with the dark stuff. I have been one to remove many entities in my career, and I'm like, whoa. And some days I go, wow, how did I get here?
That's the lion's share of what my team and I do. And now I work as a team because we deal with the heavy entities, but dealing with them as a team is amazing because you've got a spotter. You've got someone that's there protecting as you're communicating and clearing. So it's really powerful, but it is important to know how to remove, how to vet, and how to remove the shadow energies. So how do you work with your wands and the deer? You've got your new deer
Yeah,
bones.
I've got my new rattles. Well, I'm gonna just pop this one up. This one's not on a deer leg, but I just did new rattles on a. I'll do a little shake for us to kind of clear the.
That is awesome. So
This
that's a
on a stick,
gourd that
but
you painted.
I have done them on deer legs. So
Okay.
I have like petrified deer legs that I processed like 10 years ago, and they've been sitting in my shed. And I'm like, oh, and Spirit was like, okay, it's time, get them out there. So I made a few of those last week.
Yeah. Because the natives would have used all parts of the animal. It
Yes.
was, they would hunt it, they would thank it, they would bless it, and they would use all parts. Nothing was discarded.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of what you're doing is using, you eat the meat and you use the cloth, the skin. Probably your mandala that's hanging behind you is made with deer skin or something along that line.
Actually, that is not.
Okay.
That one's got felt on it. That was a gift from a friend, but it's I use the deer skin for the drum making. So I am also processing the hides. So
Okay.
I am what they call fleshing the inside of the hides,
Okay.
clean them up, and then I defer the hides.
Okay.
And it's basically chemical free. I don't like having chemicals and using chemicals at all in
Right.
any and processing any of my stuff. You do a little bit of bleach to disinfect and water, and that's about it.
Mhm.
But yeah, I was processing hides a few weeks ago. I did 5 deer and an elk.
Wow.
The weather broke, and I'm like, great time. The bugs aren't out yet. Great time to be out here.
Exactly.
So, needless to say, my roommate looked at me and went, well, what did you do today? Because I stunk like a deer.
Yeah. Where do
So
you get your deer? Are they people who hunt and
yeah, I have friends that are hunters, and yeah, and if I need more, I go to a butcher or whatever. Then and during season and get my hides from them, and they're always grateful to give them to me because they just throw them out. And I'm like, this is such a waste. I'm like, I wish I had a bigger place to be able to do more, but at the same time, I take what I need, and then the rest goes back to Mother Earth, and that's kind of how this all works out. We try
that's
to keep
yeah,
things in balance.
yeah, beautiful. So you've got your deer, the deer bones that you're using for rattles and for the also for the wands. How are the wands used? Tell us about the wands.
The wands I use for like I'm gonna just do a quick example here. I do it for like a chakra clearing. You just kind of windshield wiper them all over your body.
Okay.
If you're one who can feels energy, you will feel that clearing, and I can feel it pulling on my heart right now. So, and
Wow.
I go down the whole body, and then it's hard when you're by yourself. It's much easier to do on somebody else.
Mhm.
And then I'll go back up the back of the body, and then I'll do like an arch over the head and arch. And I'm just setting intentions for the person as I'm doing it for joyfulness and happiness and to clear out whatever they need to release at that point in time.
Wow. So what do you do that on a regular basis? What do you do to keep your energy clear?
I don't know. No. I do a lot of my native. I light language, chanting, whatever you want to call it, drumming. I'll sit here and drum. I'll take time to drum every couple days. And when I get off balance, I usually go outside and barefoot on the ground and just kind of put myself back into check again.
Yeah.
Usually pretty good. I do kind of falter every once in a while if I'm really, really busy and, everything's crazy in my world and I'm running from one fair to the next to make a living. So, but for the most part, I can just recheck and just within myself and balance back out. And a lot of times I will grab a wand at a fair and go because it helps you to keep balance.
And some of those fairs have got some pretty interesting energies floating around, don't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
I actually got whacked a few weeks ago. We had a person that was really dark and I was wonky for a good 3 hours. And my friends kept looking at me from across the room. They're like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "No." So I got hit with something. So even though, I know what I'm doing, I've been doing this for over 20 years and I know my protection and my guides. And I'm like, whoa. So it finally cleared and I kept clearing the space. I kept drumming and drumming and drumming to clear the space. And of course it's in a big room. So it's kind of hard to clear a big room when it's full of people and you don't know exactly who it's coming from. But
Fortunately, there are a lot of people who they abuse their gifts. They use the gifts for power control. And through their jealousy, they can send negative energy. You might want to call it a curse, whatever you want to call it. But people they play with dark magic or they work with dark magic, and they can create a lot of pain and agony to the beautiful, unaware light workers and even the aware ones. But what happens is you're aware, okay, something is off in my energy. I have picked something up, someone has sent something, whatever, and then you have to know how to clear it. So your wands are one thing. That's great.
Yeah.
Drumming and grounding. I love that. Mother Earth.
Mother Earth. A lot of times I go hug trees. If I'm in an area where there's trees and I'm wonky, I'll just go like, "Oh, I'm up." I tell whoever, "Watch my table, I'll be back." And I go hug a tree just to get me out of that situation and to clear my energy.
Right.
And always ask the tree to take your energy before you give it to them because they need to give you permission as well.
That's important. That's an important thing for people to know. You've got to, because they're sentient beings as well.
Yes.
And so you've got to ask them, just like, here's one of the things that I have learned in many years of doing this type of work is ones of the light you ask, ones of the dark you command.
Right.
So if somebody is saying, "Command your guides," they're not working with the light.
No.
There's no way I'm going to command Jesus, Archangel Michael, or a tree. Right? Because I honor and respect them. I would humbly ask, and boom, they're right there because they know that my intention is pure. But the way that you deal with the dark ones is you command them, like you just said earlier, "Be gone, get out of here." And they have to respond to that answer or to that command.
Yep, because if they can't answer to me who they are, and like you get so you sense it, and if they're not of the highest and best good, it's like, I'm not working with you.
You're out of here.
Sometimes they come in to me for me to send them to the other side because they need to go to the light. So I do a lot of work as well.
Yeah. That brings me to another question. A lot of people say, "Well, I smudged my house, but it keeps coming back." My response, and I'd love to hear your thought on this, is if you're using sage and smudging, you're just kind of annoying the spirit and chasing it away temporarily, and then it's going to come back because it's annoyed. But in a true shamanic or a native ceremony, because I've been to many powwows and ceremonies a true shamanic use of smudging is done in ceremony. That is a prayerful lifting of the spirit, not just I'm smudging my house, chase it away. There's a decided difference from what I've experienced. I'd like to know your thoughts on that.
I set the intentions that they need to leave. And
Mhm.
again, not for if they're not for the highest and best good. And yeah, it's just the setting intentions. Intentions are huge. And if I have done house clearings, and I just did a business clearing last week down in Massachusetts. And when I walked in, I was like, energy's not too bad. And then when I set the intentions and shifted it all, and then I walked out of the store and walked back in, I was like, whoa, it was a completely different, like it was so much lighter.
It
So
is,
it shifts and changes.
yeah,
But you can talk to spirit like you're talking, like we're having this conversation right now. You
absolutely,
can talk to spirit.
yeah.
People are like, oh my God, I can't talk to them. Like you can. And loved ones that have
Waiting for
passed.
you. That there's talking to them and then waiting to listen to hear because they're
Right.
trying to communicate all the time, but people are too busy to humble, not humble as they're too guilt ridden that I don't
Right.
deserve to hear them. Oh no, they're wanting you to
Want to talk to you. They want
they
to
want to talk
get
to
their
you.
messages to you. They want to let you know that they're okay. They want to let you know that they want you to move on with your life. And it's, they're up there. We're down here. So we need to create our own happiness and joy and our experience. It's not about pleasing everybody else. It's about pleasing ourselves.
Beautiful, beautifully said. Do you have any special stories, like a powerful transformative story or experience that you've had other than your initial one, which was really powerful, but anything that other that you've worked with?
I just had a really incredible experience this past winter. I might cry on this one. I don't know if I can get through it, but I was dating a gentleman, and our first date was New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. We were chatting a little bit on back and forth through text and everything. And he passed away on March 3rd of this year. So when we went away, he did not let me know he was sick. And when we got back, he explained why. He said, I just wanted to have one normal weekend, or one normal experience without it being about me being sick. So we had about 3 good weeks, and then he got really sick. He landed in the hospital, and after 10 days in the hospital, we went to hospice, and another 14 days in hospice, and he passed.
Wow.
We have covered for better, for worse, for richer and poorer, for sickness and health, till death do us part, in 9 weeks. The book will be coming out on this. I just don't know exactly when yet. It may take me a couple of years to process through all this one. But we had the most beautiful journey. We had a past life together. We had many past lives together. And my biggest gift out of this is that I got to remote view his end of life journey while laying next to him in the hospice bed. Yeah. They're just, you can't make this up.
You were there as his transition shaman.
Yes, I was there as his death doula, his transition shaman. And I was with a friend of mine this weekend who's a medium, and she's like, he won't stop, Darlene. He's right here and he's with you all the time. And he thanks you. And I keep getting told multiple times because I treated him like a human being. He had a really messed up life, but I saw him on a soul level,
Mhm.
and my soul knew his soul. And he was my Native American warrior that I waited my whole life for. And I got the beauty of spending 9 weeks with him.
That's
So
magical.
this is yeah. Like I got no more words on this one.
Wow, what a blessing. What a blessing. And talk about heart
Mm-hmm.
centered joy. I mean, every emotion possible.
Every motion.
Yeah.
And I helped him as much as he helped me because of my past and divorce and all that. And I'm still working on a lot of myself. And he taught me to open my heart back up again.
Beautiful.
But I'm like, wait, you come in and now you're gone. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. What do I do? And I got stupid a couple weeks ago, had quite a few cocktails and cried my eyes out for about 6 hours and got up the next morning and went, okay. And I know he wouldn't want me doing this. So I got back on my wagon and just jumped back up and started working on my business again. And I just started dating again a little bit here and there. So I'm like, I just got to keep moving forward.
Thank you for sharing. That's a very heartfelt story. Thank you.
Welcome.
So what is next for you? Looking ahead, new creations or projects, or what do you have? What's next in your artistic and spiritual journey?
Whatever they tell me to do next.
I get it.
I'm into fair season right now. So I am going down to New Jersey next week for the Gem and Mineral Show down there.
Okay.
I travel all over New England, New York this year, New Jersey, and I have no idea. I was told that I might be going out to New Mexico next winter to work with a Native American woman to learn my next components. I don't know, but my shaman had told me, and then I had a reading, and another friend confirmed it. And I went, oh, okay, how am I getting there? So I don't know. When I get there, I get there, and if I don't, it's not in divine alignment at this time, and I will just continue to do what I do.
That's amazing. I know you make a lot of beautiful jewelry and gems. You're the Andara queen.
Yes.
Have so many beautiful things. So do you have an online presence, Darlene?
Well, funny you should ask that, Lois. That was my winter projects because Spirit had told me in September, October last year that I was not traveling this winter. And I just filled you in with the story as to what happened to my winter. So I have a website. It's multifacetedshaman.com. It so needs an overhaul. I will get there eventually. I just don't know when, because now I'm totally into fair season. So the best place to reach out to me or find out where I am is my Darlene Doughty Facebook page. And it's my personal account. It's about all I can handle on social media right now. And I list all my events on the top. I have a pin post with my events, which needs to be updated as well. So technology.
I'll put your email and the information as well.
Yeah. And if anybody has any specific questions, they can feel free to reach out to me through email at multifacetedshaman@gmail.com.
I know that when I purchased this little dragon, I purchased it for my son for Christmas at a fair. And I bring it home and I'm sitting here. I have my little familiar cat right here. So I had it sitting next to me. She adopted this dragon. So she would lay her head on it. This dragon became hers and mine. So it was like, what was it, Christmas Eve or 2 days before Christmas? I reached out to Darlene. I said, I need a new dragon for my son. She's like, I got you covered. And so, just reach out. Darlene will help you. So I remember scooting over there. I must have been Christmas Eve and getting a new dragon picked out.
I think it was the day before Christmas Eve. I don't even like that's right. I completely forgot about that because I forget about a lot of things because I'm just like doing 190 miles an hour all the time. Yep, I live in the moment.
Well, look her up at the fairs, the multifaceted shaman, and definitely stop by her booth. I love her work is exquisite, and the intention is so pure. That's also, I have some of your again, she makes beautiful things. So if you're into jewelry, crystals, drums, rattles, all of that, native Mama Gaia.
I wear.
Yeah, look at that. Awesome. Well, Darlene, this was wonderful fun. Thank you. Is there anything else you'd like to share before we wrap it up?
No, just enjoy each and every moment of each and every day. Enjoy the summer sunshine here in New England, and just be the happiest you can be, because life's too short to be miserable.
Absolutely. This is so true. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Thank you for being here, and I'll have this posted for everybody soon. I always end by inviting people, follow me on YouTube and Rumble on the website, loisherman.com. Until next time, look up, stay positive, and be the light or bring the light to someone today. God bless.